Hello and welcome to this presentation. My name is Renee Graham, and today I'll be discussing experiential family therapy and the theoretical orientation that guides this approach. Just to start, the experiential family therapy is an approach developed by Carl Whitaker, which is psychotherapy guided by thoughts and action, which falls under the Gestalt therapy. The approach is based on, like I said, the theoretical orientation of the humanistic, which is person-centered approach. The main focus of the humanistic approach is basically focusing on the client as a whole while using their current experiences to bring the past into the present. The vision for therapy is to focus on feelings, lived experience by family members, and using the present to help families become self-aware, self-confident, and bring forth whatever issues that might be brought up for families. The process involved in experiential family therapy is just helping family to live that experience, live in that moment, confronting those thoughts and becoming aware of that behavior, and engaging each member to work and understand their role, their individual roles, rather, and coming together to achieve the family's common goal. In the humanistic approach, clients and as well as family, they use techniques such as the empty chair or talk therapy to bring forth those experiences, that whatever is happening in the moment, to help them gain self-confidence and to help them work effectively to promote growth and change within the family system. So that is just a little bit about what theoretical orientation governed experiential therapy. The information summarized in the overview and what theoretical orientation approaches experiential therapy is taken from Good Therapy 2018, as well as the RAVE website. Thank you.
So my question is, who are the theorists who developed this approach, and are there any CYCs writing, speaking, or practicing this approach? So the person that actually did develop this approach is Carl Whitaker, who was a 20th century psychiatrist, educator, and therapist who actually found the field in experiential family therapy. His humanistic approach focused on getting at the heart of the feelings experienced by all family members. Experiential family therapy is the meeting place of humanistic psychology and therapies of likes of Abraham Maslow, Carl Rogers, and Fritz Perls, and the family system and communication theories of likes of Gregory Bateson, Don Jackson, and Paul W. So those are actually the Carl Whitaker is actually the main founder of experiential family therapy, and then for the rest to follow is the names that I did list below. So, experiential therapy is a theoretical orientation that has been researched and utilized extensively within our work. The origin of this theory can be traced back to the humanistic existential theory of human beings. There are at least three major branches of family systems. So, there's Carl Whitaker's, his symbolic experiential approach, Walter Kempler's Gestalt experiential approach, and Virginia S. communications approach. But experiential therapists focus on the unique self of the therapist. The therapist gives the impression that there may be many models as therapists. So the focus of the unique experience and responses of both clients and therapists from moment to moment can give an impression that there are infinite variations. So also I want to say that experiential theorists recognize that the acquisitions of meaningful insights and understand often further can bring a better therapeutic change within that approach. So going back to the CYC writing and speaking, so how do we use this approach in our work? CYCs, we often use this approach on a daily basis depending on the clientele that they're working with. So whichever young person, family, literally anybody who they encounter that we are providing our service to would, mainly families would go through this approach. So they would we would use expressive tools and activities to go through past scenarios if the kid did have some sort of traumatic experience, eating disorder behaviors, anger management, substance abuse, loss of individual. Also, we would use hands-on interventions and talk therapies to ensure that we do get an evidence-based approach in this scenario.
Let's move on to the topic of traditional techniques used within experiential family therapy. There has been a few traditional techniques that have been identified within the use of practice. Let's keep in mind that these traditional techniques have a more intuitive approach and utilize the multisensory factors that a client or a family may have. These activities or the techniques is to help the family or client reenact or re-experience what they have felt through a particular event or crisis they have been through. And this will help them acknowledge their emotions with each other and with themselves. After completing some of the techniques or activities through the therapy, the family or the client may be able to identify their emotions and link it back to the skills and their self-esteem. On to some examples. So, any activity that could be used to help a family reenact or re-experience their own event that they went through would be considered okay. So in this case, we could be using role play, crafts, guided images, journaling, drawing, even puppets. As a CYC, it's probably more common that we do use some of these activities that I listed in our daily work depending on the child or the family that we are working with. But we do have a more innovative mindset, and we should or could make each activity represent something different or represent the client or the family and what they went through in a more creative way. Now, for example, I mentioned puppets. In this case, we may have a client who's struggling with self-esteem. We may want to have them build a puppet that represents them and understand how we can help them build their confidence. Having the client or the family build puppets that represent themselves, we may now understand where their mindsets are and how they view each other or just themselves in general, and we will now know where they stand and how we can help better support them. However, even when we do alter some of our techniques, it's important to understand that while one technique may work with one certain client, it may not work with another. So each case is definitely individual and will need some tailoring to help the client or the family move forward. There we have it. Some of the more common and traditional techniques being used within experiential family therapy. Also, from a point of view of a CYC, I definitely believe that we do help advance this type of therapy just by us taking a step forward and investing our time into some of these activities and altering it to suit our clientele.
Hi everyone, my name is Uyohana John. I'm here to continue from where Ravina stopped. Relational practice. A relational practice is all about building relationship with the children and youth we are working with. And this entails loving them, caring for them, and cherishing them to make them feel important. And when you make somebody feel important, that person will love you too. That person will just give their all to you. They will be ready to hear you and work with you. And that is what we at CYC are sent to do while working with the children and youth and their family. I want to talk about the role play. Role play therapy is a very essential thing which can help the people who are working with very well. So this involves, this is we as CYC putting our foot in the shoe of the people we are working with. That means that you feel their pain. The problem they are passing through is like you are the one that is passing through that problem. And these people we are working with, They can feel it, they can see it when they know that you are with them and feeling their pain. They know it. So as we do that, it helps them like open up to work with easily. Because they can feel it. It's not something like we're pretending to do. It helps them, it helps us build trust with them. Make them to rely on us to tell us whatever problem they are passing through. And this make our work very easy with them. So we have to connect with them. In connecting with them, we also have to be intentional. Not just saying it because we want to say something. We should do it, we should mean it. Show them that yes, this is what we are doing. And when we do that, it makes the work easy peasy for us as child and youth worker. Tom Gaffer 2015 said connection give hope. Yes, connection give hope. If you are connected with somebody, genuine connection, yeah, you are telling that person there is hope. And they also can attest to what is going on between you and them. That will make them free themselves and tell you whatever they need to tell you. And as we do this, it makes them to like lessen their burden, makes them to like try to forget about the past and face the present. You know, make them not to think too much about what has gone, that is the past thing, and their focus now is on a new thing. You know, it makes them to forge ahead and forget about the past. That is why we are there to do what? To help them put their foot on the ground, to become better people in the society. When we make them happy, we are making the society too happy, because when there is a result, they will, anywhere they go, it will show. They become positive people in the society, better for themselves and the society at large that they are. So at CYC, our work is to just see them as us, even though no matter what. Because if you love somebody, you will not like try to see any wrong in that person. All you need to do is just to be thirsty and hunger to like help that person be on their foot. So the technique to like help this child and youth and their family is this play, a role play. The role play is essential. There are other therapies that we can use, but I just want to talk about this. So when we connect with the children and youth, it will go a long way. To go a long way. I believe you have gotten something from the little things I have said so far. Thank you.
So as mentioned before, the experiential family therapy is an unconventional school of therapy that derives from Gestalt therapy, psychodrama, client-centered therapy, and the encounter group movement. Now we're going to focus on one of the experiential family therapy techniques. The one that we chose was the empty chair technique. This is where an individual speaks to an empty chair as if the individual was physically in the chair. The technique allows family members to openly express his or her feelings to another member in which they have some conflict. The individual in the chair may or may not be physically in the session. Communicating and expressing to an empty chair enables an individual to convey feelings and concerns in a healthy, controlled, and safe environment, with no risk of disruptions or negative rebuttals. In the event that the individual is physically in the chair, they get the opportunity to listen to the other person's thoughts and feelings. This technique can be implemented as a practice session for a person-to-person open dialogue with the individual that they have a conflict with. Ultimately, this can be used as a modeling strategy for them to see and understand how this dialogue could be conducted. So now we're going to actually demonstrate the empty chair technique. So we have 2 chairs here. We have one with our client Gigi, and here's our empty chair that we have. And so just to give you some context, Gigi is here to talk about some of the issues she's having with her mother in regards to her drinking. So now we're going to start the session, the empty chair technique session. Hi Gigi. So today I've brought you in and we're going to try something new today. It's called the empty chair technique. And what I would like you to do is this chair that's in front of you, we're going to pretend that your mother is sitting there. And I would like you to just express whatever you're thinking and feeling to her today. Is that okay with you? Yes, that's okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so whenever you're ready, feel free. Okay, Mom, so I just want to talk to you about the fact that your drinking is out of control and it really makes me feel scared. Sometimes I don't know what's happening and what's going to happen next. I'm concerned for you. Our family hasn't been the same since you started drinking, and I really can't have this keep going. I feel like I don't want to be in this house with you anymore. I never know what's going to happen next, and this is just too much for me, and I know it's too much for everybody else, and I just can't deal with that. So now we're going to pause the scene. And so that was just an example of how this technique, this empty chair technique, can be implemented. And that's about it. Thank you so much, Gigi.